Okay guys, we are back, and I have the flat green here, and I put the grip on here because it dried, and I thought, you know what, this would be actually kind of cool. But then looking at this, I was like, you know what, I don't like how that turned out, so we're going to paint that nice little bit of green on this bad boy and make it look real nice, make it look like a real nice gun. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to paint around the trigger guard. Go. And then we're going to paint around this. There we go. Paint around this little area here. Going to just paint down the grip here because, let's face it, a green gun would actually be kind of cool. Here we go. There we are. A nice little bit of green right there. Matches very well. It's a very nice little gun. I'm not going to lie. It's a very, very nice, very good gun. Which, I might as well give you guys some history about the 1911. You see, the 1911 originally almost never got built. Well, I wouldn't say build, just never got made, because the Army was about to actually make another gun, which was made by a completely different company, though still United States brand. Sort of. It's complicated, a very complicated history, but what's cool is that the 1911 design has been adopted by so many countries, including China. Yes, China, of all places, a fully communist country, adopts an American-designed weapon. But for good reason, because we did occupy China during WW2. And what's interesting about it is that during WW2, we actually let the Chinese use our guns, which was, I know I'm going to be doing a sin by painting over KWA, but you know what, I'm going to actually try and do something pretty cool with that paint design right there. But yeah, the Chinese loved how amazingly efficient our 1911 was, how deadly it was. So they said, you know what, we're going to adopt this gun. We're going to adopt the design of it. Which, ironically enough, if you actually look up a lot of history on it, the Chinese actually do still use... Okay, some Chinese law enforcement and military do still use the 1911. While granted, it's very rare to see one use it, because, once again, capitalistic gun, they still pay respect to it. And I kind of like that. I really do like that the Chinese, while now slowly going down in economic power, actually understands that the gun was the Americans' best gun. And what's actually cool about the 1911 is that it's still in service. I mean, hell, some law enforcement will actually use a 1911, be it updated, stock, or otherwise. And I kind of like that, because, let's face it, if you're facing down a dude who's a crackhead and who's just doped up on crack, which would you rather use? A puny-ass 9mm? Or a fucking 9 or 45? Primarily 1911. And to be fair, what's actually cool about the 1911 is that it can take punishment. No lying, guys. If you actually look up a lot of things on the 1911, you'll see it's hard to break. It is a hard gun to kill. Reason being, it's just built well. Hell, everything built by America before we started outsourcing all of our crap to China and Mexico and all that was built to last. And the 1911 was one of them. Still is, even, because, I mean, hell, there is an Italian company that is making a double-barrel 1911, and that sucker will not jam. I mean, will not jam. And hearing that makes me happy, because they're a company that actually worked alongside the creator of the 1911. And that just makes me extremely happy. Here we go, just try and cover our mistakes a little bit on the grip here. Granted, we are not doing very well on that either, but you know what? Fuck it. It's not going to be one of those guns that's a pretty gun. It's just a gun that's being used to track down some assholes and shoot. Especially those who don't call their fucking hits. Okie dokie. Now we're going to, once again, let it sit here and dry, and then we'll apply a second coat here, because this is not like the grip here, which I am keeping the grip like this, because this is a nice grip. But even then, I'm considering actually not doing a second coat on the 1911, because to be fair, this is actually pretty good the way it is. Although I am going to do a coat right here on the KWC and then the Made in Taiwan. Here, I'm going to try and clean that up a good bit, because I still want to say it was made in Taiwan. Or, you know what, it's still good, to be fair. It still is a good gun, so I'm just gonna paint KWC, because to be fair, KWC needs to be respected. So, yeah. Well, I will be seeing you guys in a bit once the paint dries. Welcome back, guys, and once again, we're back to painting this gun. So, let's go ahead and break out the paint once again. And yes, once again, I will be painting with this, which I will admit this turned out very, very nicely, so yeah. Let's just go ahead and break out the big brush. And once again, we are going to paint this little bad boy here real nice, very nicely, which I will admit this will have to be painted over as well, which is a pain in the ass, but you know what, it just happens. So yeah, there we go, there we go. There we go. This. Go, just get some good paint there. Now, what's the pain in the ass part about this? That this body is all flat. It's all smooth. It's not exactly rigid. It's not, you know, anything like that. So it's kind of a pain to paint over it, because, well, that's basically what it is. The paint, it's all it is. It's not exactly bad per se. It's just pain in the butt. Sorry, bumped the camera. In return, I bumped you, audience. So, sorry about that. So, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to paint over the grip. Go. And of course, we gotta paint over this as well. Go. I'm sorry if you guys can't see it very well. I'm just trying to get as much as I can into the actual frame. I might try a different angle here so you guys can see the whole process. There we go. It's in there. Real nice in there. Just all nice. There we go. Just get it real nice. Back of the gun here. Make it all nice and beautiful. There we go. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like extremely beautiful or fancy or anything like that, which I will have to get the fine details with the fine brush and all that good jazz. But at the same time, it's basic stuff, because I'm trying to get as much as possible in as possible, and there we go, get the fine detail there. And while at the same time I'm still trying to get stuff done, it's just basically me trying to work around the gun and what I've been given, because once again, you're only limited to your imagination, which I know a lot of people will say, oh, Al, that's a lie. No, it's not. Because believe me, a lot of people will say, oh, I can't customize my gun. I can't customize my gun. I can't paint my gun. Look at me right here. I am a person who never went to art school, and I already know, and I know the basics of painting a fucking gun. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Now, I will be using a new technique to paint the barrel of this thing, which what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try and paint the outline of the trigger. Well, I'm going to paint the trigger itself, actually, just to give it that nice little bit of interesting look. So that way, you know, it's definitely more camouflaged on the other side. But at the same time, it's still trying to get some things here. But like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty. It's just got to be, you know, it's just got to work. So that way, you know, when you're using the gun, it stays the way it is. So that way it works the way it has to. Well, at the same time, it just comes down to how you can manage it. Now, as for me here, I'm definitely doing what I can, what I got. So, yeah, I'm doing what I got. And what I have is modeling paint, which modeling paint works very well for hand painting springers. And I actually know a few other people now who hand paint their guns as well, which which I'm kind of happy I'm not alone in hand painting weapons. So, yeah, apparently hand painting weapons is a very good art form, very good therapeutically. It works out very well. So, the color I'm using is OD green, or as it is known as camo green flat, very camo mate, what have you. Yeah, so this should be a interesting dry, and I'm going to let it dry now, and I will get back to you guys in a little bit. Also, just so you know, the running time on this gun, or this project, is roughly an hour and 30 minutes. We are into it 1 hour and 30 minutes, and that's with the quick drying of the paint via a light source. So we will be back in a little bit. Okay, so I know I'm cheating here, but you know what? The hell with it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the barrel. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of this paint here, and I'm just going to do like a half line. I'm going to try and paint it halfway around, which that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just try and paint it halfway around as much as I can, just as much as I can here. And I'm just going to paint it the halfway around point here, because I know it's going to be paint over with the dark, with the tan when it comes, but you know what, I'm just going to paint around here so that way it gives it a nice little rounded look almost, you know, just a little round right there. And I'm going to try and keep the orange as much as possible so that way, you know, just the orange, that's how it goes. So yeah, there we go. And that's how you paint the tip, but you keep it orange, sort of, you know, what have you. There we go. Go, get that nice. Alright, we're going to let this sit here with the actual lower receiver, and we're going to let it dry. And then we will come back to these two parts when they both dry. Okay? Okay. Until the next jump cut. Hey guys, AirsoftAl here, and right now I have it flipped over. And we have the slide on, which the slide went on very well. Kind of happy for that. And right now I'm just going to do some touch-ups on the green, because apparently some of it did not want to be exactly good with me. So yeah, that's definitely going to have to work out. But yeah, a little bit of it still worked out very well. Yes. And a lot of it has worked out very well, I'm not going to lie. A lot of it is good. Just got to do a little bit of touch-up jobs here and there. You know how it goes. Then again, anyone who's ever owned one, you understand better than anyone your gun. You understand it very well than anyone, how it is, how fucking pain in the ass it is to actually work on these things, how to paint them, all that good jazz. But you know what? It's part of the job. It's part of the sport. You know, it's part of how it is. Even part of owning a firearm. And I know a lot of you are already saying, but AirsoftAl, it's a replica firearm. It's not a real one. Well, replica or otherwise, treat it like you would a real firearm. I mean, hell, this thing is completely unloaded. There is nothing in it. I mean, nothing, as in no ammunition, nothing that could possibly cause me or anybody else bodily harm. And believe me, I've had a lot of idiots. I mean, true story, I had an idiot go and shoot me with my own loaded gun. Even though I told him 3 times that the thing was loaded. Be careful. And what happens? The idiot goes and shoots me anyway. So, yeah. Now, I was going to say that I was going to save the logo here. Try to anyway, but sadly, I cannot. I went over it several times already with my friend, and I'm not able to save the logo. So, yeah. As for the hammer we're not going to paint. We are not going to paint the hammer. That's how it's going to be. As for the sights, well, that's going to be a different story altogether. Outside of that, let's break out the Dark Earth and break into this thing. Or, you know, be right back, guys. I'm going to see if I have any other colors. Death is the one